business returns were due March 15. That's corporations, 1120s, 1120S, and 1065. So those, unless you filed an extension during that time before by the March 15th deadline, there was no extension on the business returns. Those were still due by April the 15th unless you filed an extension by the March 15th deadline. As far as the stimulus goes, for individuals, the stimulus will be based off of your 2019 or 2018 tax returns if you have not filed the 2019 taxes. So for filing status single, is $1,200 up to the income of $75,000. For head of household, it is $1,200 up to income of $112,500. For married filing jointly is $2,400, and that should say $150,000. The information that I have received from the IRS.gov website in the Journal of Accountancy says that if your income exceeds those limitations, then $5 will be deducted for every $100 over that amount. And then there is $500 for each qualifying child under the age of 17. Now, the Paycheck Protection Plan, this is the program for businesses that have employees and contractors. So the program is available to small businesses that were in operation as of February 15th. They're saying that the full principal and any accrued interest may qualify for loan forgiveness if the borrower maintains compensation levels. That means that they keep their employees, and they also, any employees that were let go, they rehire them back. And they're pretty much applying for this loan so that they can continue to pay their employees, and any employees that were let go, they can rehire them back. And then if they maintain that, then a portion of it will be forgiven. Now, of the portion that's not forgiven, 25% of that can be forgiven if you can prove that it was for interest on mortgage, rent, and utilities. The CARES Act also permits PPP loans to pay for up to 8 weeks of payroll costs and other costs. And this will be available until June 30th or funds run out. Now, what I am running into with a lot of my clients that are business owners, they're in a waiting period. They've gone on to the SBA.gov website and applied for the loans, and they haven't heard anything as of yet. And I had one client that applied about a month ago, and he contacted me yesterday and stated that he hadn't heard anything. So I know that there's going to be a webinar with some of the banks. I think it's tomorrow. They may be able to give more information regarding that. I don't have any more information regarding, you know, the order of the individuals or the businesses applying for the loan, how soon they're going to be contacted back, and when they will be dispersed the loans. I don't have that detailed information.
Yeah, hopefully, Nicole, we can get some of that as well tomorrow. That's why we're doing one tomorrow as well, to try to cover everything.
Okay.
And just wanted to mention too, before you keep going, if anybody has any questions while we're going, feel free to use the Q&A, and we'll get to those questions when Nicole finishes her presentation. Thanks. Go ahead.
So that's the information that I had. So if you want more information, more detailed information, I have my email address here and my phone number. Now, I did get a question from Gary regarding payroll taxes. So the question was, were a business that applied for the loan and got the loan, were they required to pay the payroll taxes? So the information that I have is that it's being extended. So what it is that 50% of the payroll tax has to be paid by, let me pull up my information here that I received from the CARES Act. Bill delays payments of 50% of 2020 employer payroll taxes until December 31st, 2021. The other 50% will be due December 31st, 2022. So it's allowing you to, even though it's incurred now, you don't have, you can, is extended as to the time frame that you have to pay it. So it does not have to be paid right now. You have until December 2021 to pay 50%, and then the other 50%, they're going to extend it to December 2022. And that's the same thing for self-employed taxes as well. Were there any questions? Gary, are you still on mute? I can't hear you.
Okay, yeah, let me ask you this. Like the stimulus money, the $1,200 or $2,400 for married, is that money taxable? Is that going to be considered income next year?
Oh, it's an advance. It's an advance on your 2020 qualifying deductions and rebates. So you're going to have to report it on your 2020 taxes, and then any deductions that you qualify in 2020 will be reduced by the amount of the stimulus advance refund that you received.
Okay. All right.
So
Go ahead.
So it's not taxed, but it will reduce the amount of deductions that you qualify on your 2020 taxes. Now, it doesn't specifically say if, for instance, you would have owed, because a lot of people owe taxes, but they're still getting the stimulus package. If
Right.
you would have to pay that money back, it does not specifically give that detail. So I can't answer that question.
Okay.
It just says that it will be reduced by the deductions that you will qualify on your 2020 taxes.
Okay, gotcha. Somebody actually just asked that, what if you owe? So I think you answered that question right there. And also, I know they have extended or increased the amount of unemployment if anybody is out of work having to pay unemployment. So maybe go over kind of the tax liabilities there. I know a lot of times people on unemployment maybe don't take taxes out of the money they get. So maybe some advice there if anybody's getting the unemployment and the extra unemployment as well.
Okay, so yes, you can opt in to get taxes taken out of unemployment. That income will be taxable to you. So yes, I would suggest that you get taxes taken out of it. So that way, when you file your 2020 taxes, you can show that you had taxes taken out. And if you are due a refund, then you will get your refund. And then if you do owe, then you will owe. That's because you're showing that you did have taxes come out of that money. So yes, please get taxes because you are taxable on that income is taxable to you. So yes, get taxes taken out.
Okay. I have a question about unemployment. I'm not sure if you'll have this answer. We're trying to get the Department of Labor, trying to get a webinar with them as well. But this is when will unemployment for independent contractors, self-employed, 1099 employees be available?
Okay, I was told that Monday, was yesterday Monday? I'm getting confused. Yes, yesterday was Monday. Yes. Independent contractors and self-employed individuals could apply as of yesterday. I have not been on the Department of Labor website to see what links are out there, but 1099s individuals normally wouldn't qualify for unemployment, but they are extending it for individuals that receive 1099s and also individuals whose income got reduced, maybe their hours got reduced or they were moved to part-time. So they will be allowed to apply for unemployment to compensate a little bit for the income that they are losing.
Okay. And I think that answered the next question I had also was again about independent contractors. I have a question. How does COVID relief bills impact charitable giving? I don't know that other than people not having the money for charitable giving. But I don't know if there's any impact that you know of as far as that goes.
Okay, so briefly, it did state that on the face of Form 1040, you will be allowed up to $300 for contributions, because on the Schedule A, it is 60% of cash donations and up to 50% of non-cash donations of your AGI. So 60% of your AGI you can do for cash donations, 50% of your AGI you can do for non-cash donations. So because the standard deduction has increased for individuals, head of household, and single, a lot of people who used to itemize, that goes on the Schedule A. They weren't out. If your itemized deductions were not greater than the standard deduction, then it's better to take the standard deduction. So they weren't able to use their contributions. But on the face of Form 1040 in 2020, they are going to allow up to $300 for contributions. So
Right.
even if they aren't able to itemize, they still will get a deduction for contributions on Form 1040 up to $300.
Okay, great. Let's see, I have is there a special form on the unemployment website? I think we're not sure about that. You'll just have to go to the Georgia Department of Labor, but we'll try to get some of those answers about the independent contractors. We'll try to get those at a later time and get some information out. How will the EIDL affect small businesses?
That, when I went on the SBA.gov website, it's saying that you can get up to $10,000, and that it should be unforgiven. So it's a loan, but then it's going to be treated as a grant up to $10,000. And you go through the same process. You apply, and then they will get back with you to ask you for more documentation. So the documentations for the payment protection program, the Paycheck Protection Program, and the $10,000 grant, they're asking for payroll information or 1099 documentation, and they may ask for tax returns. Yeah, they may ask for tax returns or financial statements. I do know that a client of mine applied for the $10,000, and what they asked for was the gross income from January 2019 to December 2019, plus they wanted that first month in 2020, which was January. So they asked for the income and expenses for that period, January 2019 to January 31st, 2020. And then if you have any employees, they want to know how many employees you have. And then from there, they put you in a queue, and then they're going to contact you when you're up and then ask you for additional documentation. So either payroll reports or 1099s. If you're an independent contractor, they want to see your 1099s. And then they may ask for financial statements and tax returns.
Okay. Okay, let's see. I've got under the PPP, our application was accepted on Friday the 10th, and we were funded on Monday the 13th.
Okay.
Does our 8-week start April 1st or the date of the application?
It starts the date that the funds go into your bank account.
Okay. All right, perfect. We were a small business with 10 employees. We are continuing to pay our employees 40 hours, even though not all of them are working. We're hoping to receive the PPP. Should we continue to pay our employees even though the PPP has not come through?
That's a good question. I would have to say yes, because once the funds come in, like I said, they're giving you time in which you have to submit the payroll taxes. I really can't give any further information because I don't know where you are in the queue and when you possibly could get the information, get the money. And I'm not sure what your financial status is, and you know how long you could go on paying your employees what you're paying them before the funds kick in. So that's really the only information I can offer at this time.
Right. Now, if somebody in that situation, just a thought, if they were to have to lay off employees and then got the PPP and then hired them back, is it my understanding what you said earlier, then as long as they keep them on at that point, it would still be forgivable as far as
Yes,
the loan goes?
yes, that's correct.
Okay, great. All right, so maybe that will help. The payroll protection plan, does it cover anything other than payroll? I think you went over that a little bit.
25% of it can be unforgiven as long as you show that it was used to pay mortgage, rent, utilities.
Okay. All right, so there are specific things.
Yes,
So those are the only other things it can be used for is mortgage?
yes, that's what I'm reading, yes.
Okay. All right, great. Okay. We don't have any questions right now. If anybody has any more, please jump in there with them. Is there anything else you can think of, Nicole, as far as tax liabilities that may come up for any of these programs or?
No, not at this time. Like I said, information, if anything is changing, is coming out, and I'm able to pull it from the IRS.gov website. I did have a few people ask me about if they didn't have their account information on their tax return to get direct deposit for the stimulus. So the IRS.gov website is supposed to be putting a link out there so individuals can fill out information to get their stimulus by direct deposit. Anybody who needs to file an extension because they're not going to meet the July 15th deadline, they can file for an extension and be extended until October. And of course, that's for personal returns, estates, and trusts.
Okay. Will the extra stimulus for people who are receiving unemployment be sent via checks or direct deposit? I think that's probably something.
Yeah, so if they don't have your direct deposit information, they're going to be sending checks. But they're supposed to have a link on their website where you can go in and fill in and put in your banking information so that you can get direct deposit. Now, what I read was it should have been up there by yesterday, but I'm not sure if it's out there yet.
Okay. And also, if you have a job, a separate job, I guess, and own a business also, can you still qualify for the grant?
From my understanding, you can, if you have a full-time job and then you have the business on the side, or you have the business as well, and that's part of your income and you paying your household bills. You can still go on there and apply, and then they're just going to ask you for your documentation.
Okay. All right. Looks like that's all we have right now. I tell you what, Nicole, in the chat, if you would go ahead and put your information in there.
Okay.
And then we will kind of leave that up for a little while. And if anybody has any other questions, submit them right now. Or if you want to contact Nicole after this is over with any questions, or you can send them to me also, and we will try to find those out if we can, whatever we can find out for you. And I know I've been getting a lot of emails from Nicole from her business with some tips and things as well. So if you want to contact her, she can get you on that list where you'll get some of those emails with some of the tips and things that she finds out as they come up. I know she's been putting those out there, and those have been really helpful. So I appreciate that. So it looks like right now we don't have any questions. Like I said, tomorrow we are going to have 3 of our local bank representatives on as well. So we'll be getting a little bit more into some of these programs, you know, how to apply for them, and kind of what the different banks are doing as far as that goes as well. So I'm sure we'll have a lot more questions about that, and hopefully we'll have a lot more answers for you also. Just want to mention as well, on Thursday, we're going to have another webinar on setting up e-commerce on your website if you don't have that already set up. And Lincoln Parks with Web Mobile Fusion will be hosting that for us and kind of get you some information if you want to set up an e-commerce site and you don't have it already. So he'll be there to do that on Thursday. And then we'll have some more coming up the next few weeks. Also for our members, just want to let you know there'll be an invitation going out later today about our business after hours. We haven't been able to hold those, obviously, but we are going to try to host a virtual business after hours. And so I'll send you information about that. We're going to try to make it just something fun to kind of get everybody's mind off everything that's going on. And that'll be on our regular after hours night on April the 23rd. We'll actually do it about 4 o'clock, try to get it done at the end of the business day. So we're looking forward to that. So right now, Nicole, I'm just going to leave your information up there. And again, thank you for coming on. If anybody has any other questions as far as the tax implications of all the packages, feel free to contact Nicole, send me an email, and we'll just leave that information up here for a few more minutes.
Okay.
And just want to thank everyone for joining us today. And hopefully we've given you some information you can use. All right. Thank you, Nicole.
All right.